Opera was brought to Poland just 30 years after it first appeared in Florence by Royal Prince Ladislaus IV Vasa. In 1628, he invited the first Italian opera troupe to Warsaw. For over 170 years, the Grand Theatre has been Poland's leading opera and ballet theatre. It was built between 1825 and 1833 and designed by the Italian architect Antonio Corazzi of Livorno. The building was converted several times. It was bombed during the Siege of Warsaw in 1939 and almost completely ruined. Only the original classicist facade survived. In 1945 to 1965, the company performed on other stages while the theater building was being restored and expanded according to designs by Bogdan Pniewski. The Polish National Opera at the Grand Theatre continues its more than 200-year tradition, producing works by Polish composers as well as world classics. The Teatr Wielki has a main stage in the Moniuszko Auditorium, which seats 1,828, and a small stage in the Muniarski Auditorium, seating 248. The former ballrooms on the first floor house Poland's only theater museum. The former ballrooms, known as Redytowe rooms, are on the first floor and house Poland's only theater museum. In 2002, the Grand Theatre's facade was crowned with a magnificent sculpture of Apollo's Quadriga, as originally envisaged by architect Antonio Corazzi 180 years earlier. The current sculpture is a contemporary design by Adam Mijak and Antoni J. Pastwa. From 1998 to 2002, and then again from October 2008, the general director of the Grand Theatre has been the great culture manager Waldemar Dąbrowski, who was Poland's Minister of Culture from 2002 to 2005. The Polish National Opera's artistic director is the outstanding stage director Mariusz Treliński, who first occupied the post in the 2005-2006 season and was reappointed in October 2008. His opera productions constitute highlights of the operatic repertoire not only in Warsaw, but also in Washington, Los Angeles, St. Petersburg, Tel Aviv, Vilnius, and Bratislava.
I'm here with Miss Karolina Łukaszewicz, a tour guide here at Opera Narodowe at the Grand Theatre. Welcome to Poland Daily Culture.
Hello.
Well, I wanted to ask you maybe something a little bit about your own background and how it is that you came to work here.
Well, actually, I came here as a volunteer and I spent about 2 years here being a volunteer. Then I got a job and now here I am. I think it's a quite magical place.
Mm-hmm. And what is your connection to this place?
I think theater is one of the best places I could be working at, and it has a great story. It's a very interesting place, so that's why I became a tour guide to tell people about this place.
What is your own sort of background? What sort of draw you to the theatre?
Actually, nothing special. I'm connected with journalism. I'm studying journalism, so I'm not connected with the theatre. However, ballet and opera are so incredible that I decided to come here.
Okay, so could you tell us what it is that makes the Grand Theatre so special?
First of all, this is the biggest opera stage in Europe, second the biggest one in the world. It's very, very interesting to see the stage. It consists of several parts, the stage proper, backstage and 4 side docks. It is so huge that it could contain, for example, the whole opera La Scala, Italian La Scala building, the whole building. Or, for example, the block of flats with about 10-11 floors. It's so huge.
Yes, it is. So, the building itself, as I understand it, is about 200 years old.
Yes.
But sadly, it was destroyed during the Second World War.
Yes, everything started in 1925 when there was a decision to build start building our theater. Unfortunately, it was demolished during the Second World War, and fortunately rebuilt after the war. It was reopened in 1965. And now you can see, for example, the auditorium with 1,700 seats. So it's a quite big auditorium.
Yes, it certainly is. So, could you tell us something a little about this auditorium, so we can get an idea about it and how it compares, perhaps, to others?
Yes. First of all, the first project of our theater was a design by Italian architect Antonio Corazzi. And then after the war, there was a design of Polish architect Bogdan Pniewski. The interesting thing about our auditorium is the ceiling, which reminds us a man's first flight to the moon. That's why it looks like the moon. Yes, because the first flight to the moon was in 1961, and our theater was reopened in 1965, so 4 years later.
Okay, I see. And just a sort of another question in connection with the architecture. I understand that the ceiling is quite a unique feature. Could you tell us about that?
Yes, exactly. That was the ceiling. The ceiling looks like a moon. If you are in the auditorium, you can see our ceiling looking like a moon.
Wohnet im Himmel, verlacht ihren Zorn, und Gott, der Herr, wird ihrer spotten.
The different institutions that operate within this building, because I understand, you know, perhaps the immediate association is with the opera itself, but I understand there's quite a few institutions that operate here.
Yes, exactly. Our building is very big and it's home for 5 institutions. First of all, it's Polish National Ballet and National Opera, then Gallery Opera, which is in our theater, Grand Theater. So we have 3 institutions. The 4th is the National Theater, and the last one is the Theater Museum. So I believe that that's the only theater museum in Europe, so it's a unique place.
Okay. What is contained within the museum itself?
The Theater Museum tells a story about the theater itself. And you can also visit a gallery, opera gallery in our theater, Grand Theater, and we have some exhibitions every season there.
And what's the exhibition at the moment?
Right now, exhibition about Stanisław Moniuszko.
Ah, super.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe you could just finish up by telling us a little something about the tours themselves and what's involved in the tours.
Well, you can take part in a tour every day from Monday to Friday, and you can see not only this place, which is free for everyone who has a ticket in the evening. You can also see a backstage and workshops, so you can visit every place in the theater. It's very interesting because we have almost 20 workshops and even restaurants, hotel rooms. You can see many interesting places here.
Ms. Karolina Łukaszewicz, thank you very much for joining us here at Poland Daily Culture.
Thank you.